I'm George Hutton, and you are listening to the Mind Persuasion podcast. Today we continue our study of Weaponized Hypnosis. For more information, please visit mindpersuasion.com/weaponized-hypnosis. In today's podcast, we'll be talking about drilling presuppositions. There are two ways to practice these. One is to start to look for any statements that other people make that make you feel defensive, but you aren't sure why. This requires that you remember what they said exactly, so later on when you are more emotionally neutral, you can dissect what they said and find the hidden assumptions. Of course, by then it will be too late. Remember, these aren't used by others to do anything other than make you feel bad and weak emotionally. So, if you were to come back the next day and try to say something, they would pretend it didn't happen. The whole point of these embedded insults and other embedded ideas is so they can sucker punch you emotionally, while at the same time maintaining their innocence. The only way to combat these is in real time, the quicker the better. Going over the previous statements after the fact will only prepare you for any similar statements in the future. This works, but it's very slow. And it also requires that you wait until you are covertly insulted. A much better way is to be proactive. As mentioned before, once you start to train your mind to see these, you'll see them everywhere. It will be like having X-ray vision into their mind. Now you may have a fairly neutral view of most of the people you interact with. Once you train your mind to see these patterns everywhere, you may change your view of some people. 2 ways to train. While these are almost always used by others to imply negative things, they can be used to imply positive things. This is a great way to practice them. Even though you'll be training yourself to use these in a positive way, you'll still see the structure regardless of how they are used. In that regard, this is not like martial arts. Martial arts are generally used to defend against an attack or even as an attack on its own. But these linguistic presuppositions can be used to lift people up just as powerfully as they can break people down, much like the tongue recipe at the very beginning of this podcast. How to build up your confidence. When you write these out, use all of them to imply good things about yourself and your future. For example, the first pattern, the counterfactual conditional clause, is nearly always used negatively by others. For example, if you hadn't spoke up in class, we wouldn't have so much homework. But the pattern itself is only about taking the past that didn't happen and assume it did, or assume something that did happen didn't happen, and project to the present or the future. So if you were writing out sentences, you might write things like, if I'd started investing at age 10, I'd be a millionaire by now. If I'd learned about presuppositions in high school, I'd own my own company now. If I'd discovered a time machine when I was in elementary school, I could show up right now and tell myself all the cool things I would have discovered. The point is to have fun and write things that make you feel good. Writing them out in the positive tends to highlight your potential rather than point out your mistakes. Another example is the spurious not. Generally, it's used to take an idea, flip it to its negative, and then put the onus on the listener to defend the opposite of the speaker's idea. But when you're writing this out as practice, you can become very creative. I wonder if I won't become a world-class debater after I practice with these patterns every day. I wonder if I am not already becoming smarter than I haven't yet realized. Anytime you drop a couple of spurious knots into a conversation, it can get pretty confusing pretty quickly. Since few people practice dropping knots into sentences, anybody that uses these offensively can have their brains obliterated by these. Kind of like when somebody tosses a grenade your way and you grab it and throw it right back at them. For example, if somebody says this common thing, don't you think his policy is better? You can reply by saying, I wonder if there aren't any better ways to discuss things that maybe we don't have all the information on unless you don't already have a ready explanation for why that is. At first, going through these and writing out sentences will make your brain hurt. Most people never really consider the language that we use. They just choose a bunch of words to express their emotional state. But once you start to write these out, it will get easier and easier. Try for at least one of each day for a full month. That does sound like quite a lot of work. Writing out one positive pattern about yourself on each pattern will take 10 to 30 minutes. But it will be time well spent. You will develop a skill few other people know exists, let alone have, and it will give you a great way to covertly presume good things about the people you are talking to. When used positively, these have the opposite effect. When used negatively, they make others feel bad, but they aren't sure why. That's why they work. They're used by bullies to project their own might makes right strategy. You feel put down and everybody sees that you are put down, and you can't really defend yourself because you don't know what just happened. But when you train your brain to use these fluently, you can covertly imply good things about others. They will feel good being around you, but they won't know why. This will come across emotionally as you having more charisma or more attractive personality. They are also a great way to encourage people without them thinking you are blatantly doing so. You encourage them by presupposing they will succeed in whatever they are doing. How to practice. Choose 2 or 3 traits about yourself that you would like to believe are true, something that you don't quite believe is true right now, or statements that represent beliefs you would like to believe as true but aren't sure if they are true now. Statements like, making money is easy. I'm a genius. Talking to attractive people is easy. I am extremely seductive. Then take those statements or similar statements and use those as the presuppositions in the sentences. However you can, wrap your daily writing practice around the ideas you'd like to believe as true. This way, by doing the exercise, you'll gain 3 powerful results. One is you'll be able to see these patterns everywhere and be able to defend yourself whenever the need arises. 2 is you'll be able to covertly uplift your friends and family by presupposing whatever good thing you'd like them to believe is true. And 3rd, in practicing these, you'll be covertly programming new beliefs into your own mind. You may find that after you get the hang of it, writing out these patterns over and over wrapped in positive ideas about yourself or the world gives you a very good feeling. It's as if you are writing a love letter to yourself. You're writing and reading at the same time, all the while filling your brain with positive ideas about who you are. Do the exercise. Yes, I know you will. You promise. Consider this one more plea to actually start writing these sentences out. Making the commitment to do this will have a profound effect on your communication and your life. Tons of people spend thousands of dollars attending seminars only to go back to their same normal lives. The seminars are wonderful experiences, but without actually changing your day-to-day behavior, they are just that, experiences. They are no more life-changing than a $10,000 2-week vacation in the Bahamas, which is why many of these expensive seminars are in exotic locations, so you believe you are getting your money's worth. Consider that this simple idea of spending 20 minutes a day for the next couple of months writing out these linguistic presuppositions will transform your life more powerfully than the most expensive seminar you could ever attend. All it will cost you is a few notebooks, a couple pens, and your time. Simply stated, writing out these patterns every day over the next few months will alter your life in amazing ways. You will become a verbal ninja capable of stopping the harshest verbal attack and capable of uplifting the most uninspired person, all for the cost of a few notebooks and a couple of pens. I'm George Hyden. Thank you for listening to the Mind Persuasion podcast. For more information, please visit mindpersuasion.com/weaponized-hypnosis. I look forward to speaking with you again soon.